All right, we're going to dive into a story that's, well, it's hiding in plain sight. We're talking about the buildings you and I walk into every single day. Hospitals, schools, shopping malls, and a really deep-seated corruption that's turning these places into potential death traps. And the craziest part, they're all signed, sealed, and officially approved. So let's get right into it.
Just let that sink in for a second. That's not just some dramatic statement, right? It's a heavy, shocking accusation. It completely reframes a tragedy. It's not an accident anymore, it's a crime. The idea here is that the official who signs off on an unsafe building isn't just being careless, they're being an accessory to murder.
Okay, so to really get our heads around an accusation that big, we first have to understand the crime scene itself. We've got to look at how a modern building, a place that's supposed to be safe, gets twisted into a lethal trap.
So, what exactly are we talking about here? What are the specific failures that turn a totally normal public building into a full-blown catastrophe? Well, it usually comes down to a whole checklist of violations, and you'd be shocked at how common they are.
And here they are. Look at this stuff. Blocked fire exits? That's basically a death sentence. And those fire extinguishers you see on the wall? They might as well be props, just paintings if they're fake or don't even work. Every single one of these violations is like peeling away a layer of safety until you're left with nothing. No alarms, no sprinklers, and basically no chance of getting out.
And here's the absolute kicker. These aren't just simple oversights. This isn't someone forgetting to tick a box on a form. No, these are calculated risks. They are deliberate choices. Someone, somewhere, literally did the math and decided that saving a bit of money on safety was worth risking the lives of every single person inside that building.
So that leads to the million-dollar question, right? How in the world do these buildings, which are just riddled with deadly flaws, get a legal stamp of approval to open their doors? Well, it all boils down to a single piece of paper and the price you have to pay to get it.
You see, this thing, the fire safety certificate, on paper, it's meant to be your guarantee of safety. It's supposed to be the final word, the proof that a building has been inspected inside and out and meets every single safety standard. But in reality, the reality is way darker. That certificate often becomes nothing more than a receipt for a bribe paid to an official to just look the other way.
And this just lays it all out, side by side. Look at the difference. On the one hand, you have the official procedure, how it's supposed to work. Rigorous inspections, fixing violations, the stuff that actually protects people. But then you look at the corrupt reality. Rubber stamp approvals, violations just ignored for a price. A certificate isn't earned, it's bought. The whole thing is just a show, a performance.
And the process is, well, it's just tragically simple. It's 3 easy steps. Step 1, an inspection gets scheduled. That's the trigger. Step 2, a bribe changes hands to make sure the inspector is suddenly blind to all the violations. And step 3, the certificate gets issued. Just like that, an unsafe building is declared safe. The entire safety system is bypassed with, honestly, stunning efficiency.
Okay, I know, it's a really grim picture. But you have to understand the problem to find a solution, right? So how do you actually fight a system that's this broken? Turns out, there's a blueprint for it. A real plan of action to expose this corruption and start demanding some accountability.
And that's the key question, isn't it? It's one thing to suspect this stuff is happening. We all kind of know it does. But it's a whole other ballgame to actually prove it and force people to change. So how can regular citizens actually fight back?
Well, the answer is a step-by-step, methodical investigation. It starts with citizens actually going out and surveying major public buildings themselves. Then you use legal tools like the Right to Information Act, or RTI, which is huge because it lets you demand the government's own records. You get the official paper trail. You combine that with interviews, maybe even with fire officers, and then you publicize the most dangerous buildings. Put it all together, and you can build a powerful legal case. Even take it to court as a public interest litigation to force the system to act.
And what's so important to understand is that this isn't just some wild, rogue plan. This whole approach is firmly grounded in existing law. We're talking about the National Building Code of India and actual Supreme Court guidelines. It's not about inventing new rules. It's about forcing officials to simply follow the rules that are already on the books.
So, there you have it. We've got the problem, and we've got a potential solution. The one thing we don't have is time. The stakes here are just terrifyingly high, and every single day that goes by is another day we're all at risk.
Think about this quote. The next disaster, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. That's what the experts are saying.
The system is so fundamentally broken. The violations are so common that another major tragedy is basically a guarantee. It's already on the horizon. The only thing we don't know is the exact date.
So, the next time you walk into a building and you see that framed fire safety certificate hanging on the wall, I want you to remember this. That piece of paper is supposed to be a promise that you're safe, but it could just be a lie. It might be nothing more than a worthless piece of paper, a receipt for a bribe that puts you and everyone else inside in incredible danger.
And all of this leaves us with a really, really unsettling question to carry around. Tomorrow, when you walk into a hospital or a movie theater or even your kid's school, take a second, look around, and ask yourself, how safe is this place, really? And who was the official that approved it for disaster?